Hello and a very warm welcome to this week's episode of Out and About in the UK. Coming up a little later in the show, we'll be joining the Tennis to Be charity for the annual Craic Cup. And we're at Cecil Sharp House in Camden for a memorial concert marking the 30th anniversary of the passing of one of London's finest traditional Irish musicians, Raymond Roland. But first we join the Irish community in Hendon for a fundraiser for the Royal National Orthopaedic Hospital in Stanmore. Professor, it's great to see the Irish community come out to raise money for such a worthy cause. Tell us about the hospital.
We treat a lot of patients with cancer, and people find that quite unusual. But a lot of the cancers we treat occur in young people, children, adults. And when I started at Stanmore as a consultant in 1992, we used to see about 77 new tumours like that a year. Last year we saw over 4,000. Not because it's more common, but people now know where to go to get the right treatment. We treat the crooked spine called scoliosis, which affects quite a few adolescents, especially girls. And we now have the largest, what we call scoliosis unit in Europe. And the outcomes again from that are really fantastic. But if anybody has a real problem, things that don't go right, complications following orthopaedics, then patients come to the RNOH. Not only that, we do routine surgery as well, and we set the benchmark for others to follow around the country, and we train 20% of the future orthopaedic surgeons in this country trained through the RNOH. So first of all, I'd like to thank Tim Kelly and the Kelly Group for tonight. It's fantastic seeing so many people here actually.
Tim had an operation there some years ago, and when he saw how dilapidated all the properties that they were doing their surgery and recuperation in, he said, we'll do something. So he's come up with this idea to raise funds, about £480,000, to create the London Irish Ward in the new Royal National Orthopaedic Hospital that's going to be opened in Stanmore in the next couple of years.
We have a very big role to play in the NHS, and we feel very privileged to be able to provide the care that we do in buildings really that are not fit for purpose. The buildings were put up in 1942 with a shelf life of 15 years, and yet what's surprising is we have an infection rate there which is one of the best in the world.
After my operation, Professor Briggs asked me would I call up to have a chat with him, and the initial chat was to fund a 4-bed ward, and he would call it the Kelly Ward. So I thought maybe there was other options, and the other option was to fund a large ward, a 32-bed ward. And I said, well, look, I would consider doing the 32-bed ward, fitting that out, under the understanding that we could name it the London Irish Ward. So after going back to committee, they came back and said any name we wanted to put on the ward, they would accept if we could raise £480,000 to equip the ward.
The fact that the Irish community is coming together and they're going to raise money for the London Irish Ward, I think is fantastic, and a really testament to the generosity of the community in this area. And Tim has been fantastic in terms of driving that. And I think people know that when Tim's on a mission, that he'll actually succeed. And it's great to be part of that and support him, and him supporting us actually.
We've penciled in about 4 or 5 different activities. For a number of the directors of the company are keen cyclers, so they're hoping to put an event together, a cycling event. And Brendan Vaughan is hoping to put a dinner dance. We're getting one of the named country and western bands over from Ireland for a dinner dance. We're also doing a race night here in the gallery, and a golf event in Hendon Golf Club. So those are the four main events, but we'll have other things probably happening as well. And we're allowing ourselves 2.5 years to raise the 480,000. As I said, we've got 100 tonight, so we're feeling confident we'll achieve that.
I think when they have the new facilities, it'll be a place that the NHS and everybody else will be proud of, and the Irish in London will be proud of. And you know, the reality of life is that many of us will end up in hospitals like this, and this is the preeminent one in North London. So many people the number of people who said they've got relations who have been through that hospital, it's absolutely amazing. So we need to do our bit.
And if people watching tonight want to donate to the appeal, how can they do that?
They can go on to virginmoneygiving.com, look up the Royal National Orthopaedic Hospital and the London Irish Ward. They can find that particular site and they can donate online. And any donation would be very welcome.
Well, huge credit must go there to Donegal native Tim Kelly for all his hard work and support of this fundraising initiative. Next, we're off to the National Tennis Centre for the annual Tennis to Be Craic Cup. Tennis and indeed sport is a great way of connecting communities, and particularly here today it's great to see Irish people benefiting from organisations like Tennis to Be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do. We link very much with the Irish community. Great sports people. We have an awful lot in common with one another, and the Afro-Caribbean and Irish communities traditionally get along really, really well together. But we have 20 plus ethnicities that actually play.
We've got different levels of players, and we're just encouraging the local communities to enjoy tennis and to play tennis at their own level as well. We work with children, we have disabled adults as well, and we just welcome everyone to mix and from different diverse backgrounds to come and play tennis with Tennis to Be.
We have an ethos of diversity, inclusiveness, and so we effectively go out and reach for these sort of communities that are very often marginalised. So lots of different backgrounds, diversity, and people that often wouldn't get the chance to play tennis.
Rudolph Walker is our patron. We're very excited to have him with Tennis to Be. He's well into his 70s. He's a sprightly man from Trinidad and Tobago, and he plays tennis brilliantly, and he supports the causes of young children playing tennis from diverse communities, and we're very, very thrilled to have Rudolph with us.
Obviously people know you at the moment from EastEnders, but you've had a long career.
Yes, a very long career. Here I am at the beautiful age of 76, yes, and I came here when I was 20. And it's been varied, it's been exciting. I've had, spent time with the Royal Shakespeare Theatre Company. I've worked in the West End, I've worked in the theatres up and down the country. Television has been very good to me, and I have embraced all the aspect of the art and enjoyed it. And one of the things that I keep saying is that I enjoy my work. Even the grueling schedules that we have at EastEnders, to me it's enjoyable.
Tell us about your involvement with Tennis to Be.
Well, I was approached by Cynthia a couple of years ago, and she talked about Tennis to Be trying to involve the community, trying to get families involved, and the link with the Irish. And I thought, wow, why not? Because tennis is my game. I love playing tennis. And my only regret is that I didn't start when I was a lot younger. But no, I enjoy the game. I play for fun, and I just love to see families playing tennis. And what a great way to pass the time and to get exercise and be healthy on the back of it all.
We want to be doing this in lots of different places. We're obviously starting off locally where Cynthia lives, works and promotes it very well with the local communities, but we want to move it firstly into Ireland, because obviously that's where I have great connections and a lot of our members do, and we're looking at it along the same lines, so tennis for everybody, in the same way that parkrun is for everybody. Very much a family-orientated, community-wide, free event.
We have a lot of friends in Ireland, people from Ireland and Dublin come down to play, mainly at the Craic Cup events, and we'd love to be out there just serving the communities who really need tennis. We also work within refugees, so we've been at a refugee camp doing tennis for refugees, and we'd love to expand further out into the southeast and, of course, definitely in Ireland.
tennis, as you would probably appreciate, would be kind of considered as a minority sport in Ireland, even though there are some pretty well organised clubs in that. But within any sporting discipline, it's always great that people come out, take part, enjoy it and engage. And that's what it's all about, really.
We're real happy to be here on behalf of Father Murphy's Ladies, and it's great now to be involved with Tennis to Be. They're trying to get involved in the communities, and it's great that they pick a club like ourselves to help us out, and we're really, really delighted. And we should do much more of this sort of thing, community feel about all sorts of sports. It's an absolutely great idea and in a marvellous setting.
The nice thing about Tennis to Be actually is that Tennis to Be covers every particular spectrum of age, young or old. You're looking at children, teenagers, adults, and it's fantastic, it really is. And I would certainly be one of the advocates to actually champion this and be happy to spread the word and get more Irish people involved in it. It's really good.
If people want to find out more, is there a website?
Yes, our website is tennistobe.com, and we'd love for you to go on there. We'll get all the updates.
What a lovely afternoon we had there in South London at the Tennis to Be Craic Cup. We're going to take a break right now, but do come back to us for the second half of the show. You're very welcome back to the show. In 1950s Britain, the Irish pub was not only a meeting place for the multitude of Irish immigrants who came here, it was also a place to find work and indeed accommodation. Raymond Roland was very much a part of all of that. A founding member of the supergroup Lecala, Raymond passed away in 1986, and on this, the 30th anniversary of his death, many of his friends and indeed his family gathered at Cecil Sharp House to honour the man who did so much for Irish culture here in London.
Well, tonight's 30th anniversary concert for Raymond Roland is mostly organised by Paul Gallagher, who's put up the money for it, got all the gang together, paid for flights, paid for the hire the hall, the PA and things like that. And I heard tonight that he even made the sandwiches for the green room out there. So it's totally, he deserves full credit for it. The prime mover behind it all. And he phoned me up and I said, just put me down for anything you want, anything for Raymond. Just put me down, whatever you want me to play, you want me to dance, you want me to do anything for Raymond.
Sadly came around to the 30th anniversary, and we had previously done the 25th, and there was many things before, and yet we didn't feel diminished in our wish to recognise the fantastic contribution that Raymond Roland had made to lots of our lives and music. And we were also very encouraged by the support of his family over the years.
And of course the Roland family were all here tonight. Annette, Rose, Anthony and Marcella is the other daughter.
In 1958 we met Raymond Roland, and then I joined him and Roger Sherlock and all the rest of the gang, and we spent all the rest of our time around the White Hart, Fulham Broadway.
He was a great man to ask anyone up But people didn't even want to go up, they just wanted to hear Raymond, whoever he's playing with, which would be John Bowe, Roger Sherlock, or John O'Shea.
Raymond used to invite me up to play his accordion, and Raymond used to play the concertina. And it almost appeared like I was resident there, which I wasn't. I was only, invited up by Raymond. But there were fantastic times. He was so funny. It's very hard to describe how funny Raymond was.
He connected with the people in the pub. He took great fun at winding up his fellow musicians, sometimes with a bit raucously or otherwise, but they all knew it was in the best of crack.
When I walked into the White Hart, I walked into the Strand Bar, through the public bar, and it was an unbelievable experience. He was playing with a Tyrone man, the banjo, the great Liam Farrell.
We used to sit behind in the Hibernian Club, me and Raymond Roland, and play till 4 o'clock in the morning when nobody else there. Only me and Raymond Roland play and play and play till the daylight outside, and we'd think about going home, and the next night we'd meet again and do the same again.
The sessions in Fulham were great. You had all the great musicians there. Roger Sherlock, Raymond, Liam Farrell there. Denny Meehan used to come in. And
sometimes my lorry broke down, While I was getting the lorry repaired, I used to carry on. I thought, I'll get a cab to the White Hart. I couldn't believe it. It was full of, PG was in there, Raymond was in there. Their lorries must have broke down as well.
All the great musicians came to play and contribute to an evening's entertainment there. It was a wonderful house. I should never get walking in there one night and the whole Bothy band were on stage playing away to themselves, and if anybody was coming through town, like Matt Malloy, we used to come through a lot, and Tony McMahon, Charlie Lennon, people like that used to come through a lot, and they would always get up and play a few tunes.
I went down there and I got totally hooked on the music, the total enjoyment and the total crack that was in the pub, but the best of music. And whenever I could, even when I was going to school, I would go down there at the weekend to hear them.
There was a fantastic session in the White Hart every Monday night, and there was a period I didn't play on Monday nights, and I always went to the White Hart. In fact, Raymond used to pick me up where I lived in Fulham.
Liam lived in Epsom, and I lived in Chessington for them years, and Liam would always pick me up when he was going to Fulham playing, and he used to pick me up about at least every second night, actually. Yeah. We go up in Raymond to be there, and great crack. I went down for at least 16 years.
John Murphy's van to tie up the top for white bread and ham. To the fairs and all where Shawnee to go to hear Bobby Casey and Curtin John Bow. Roger Sherlock, Brian Moody, our friend Barrett Wyam, Danny and Raymond Roland, our Brendan Mulcair. And as I was sleeping the sleep of the dead,
I kind of had this idea of the scene back then, even from the 50s maybe onward, and then tried to put them all together, and not easy. And I do always make mistakes when I sing because there's so many of these musicians that I'm trying to reel off.
Everybody kept their own styles. Nobody copied anybody else. You think they'd all have copied, but no one did. I mean, John never tried to play like Raymond and that sort of business, and Danny and Ian never tried to play like Bobby Casey, and everybody was very proud of their own tradition and styles, and they kept them.
We ended up making a couple of LPs together. I couldn't believe it. Because Casey was his favourite fiddle player, but he saw the wee bit of spark in me.
Great fun, great musicians. I never had anything like them since. I don't think I ever will now.
Take my hand, singing last night, your love so divine, waited as long as I can.
It was a fantastic night. The music was fantastic. Some great musicians over from Ireland and the best of the London musicians. I was delighted to be part of it.
Raymond Roland was an inspirational musician and character of that time.
I remember seeing him play in the White Hart, and he kind of drew you in.
An absolute gentleman, a fantastic character, fantastic sense of humour.
His interaction with the crowd is I've never seen anyone else capture it in the same way.
Raymond Roland's passion, his passion for playing trad music.
He was the musician's favourite musician. We meet people from all over the world who talk about Raymond Roland.
Tonight brought back a lot of memories, and I have a little key ring in my pocket which Raymond brought me back from Lourdes when he was dying, which I take and talk to it regular.
Well, what a fantastic evening that was, and it really was great to hear from so many of Raymond's friends and fellow musicians on such a special occasion. If you'd like to contact the show, send an email to ian@irishtv.ie. You can also find us on Facebook and on Twitter. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have right now, but do come back to us next week when we'll be out and about in the UK.